We're seeing all the headlines of the terrifying things that have been happening at the border under this administration. Like you mentioned, what's happening to children. We're seeing children being dropped from walls. We're seeing children being stranded, saying they left me. I mean, I could literally go on about this forever. But I actually wanted to touch on something else that he pushed for in his speech last night. So he said, get vaccinated, right? Which was interesting because he was in a room with people who were vaccinated and they were all wearing masks. And I find this really interesting because don't you think it's important for America to appear as united? And the room wasn't even full and people were wearing masks. Isn't that a bad look for us?
It would be hard to imagine any bigger picture of disunity. And President Biden pays a lot of lip service to unity, but it doesn't really pay. You know, for example, claiming credit for vaccines. He talked about the given shots in arms and how many of those have occurred in the first 100 days, but gave no credit at all to the Trump administration's warp speed operation that produced that vaccine. Joe Biden was vaccinated during the Trump administration and gives no credit at all. There are lots of opportunities like that to promote unity, but it's just not what he means. What Joe Biden and Democrats mean by unity is dominance and punishment of dissent. They want to have no opposition and they want to have control. As indicated by their H.R. 1, their election reform bill, the notion of giving amnesty and making all illegals Democrat voters, they hope, they want to have perpetual control. That's how they achieve unity in their minds.
Yeah, and speaking of vaccines, like you said, they love to take credit for a lot of things that they weren't responsible for. And in the rebuttal, Senator Scott did say that Trump was responsible for that. But I wanted to get your take. What was your response on the rebuttal in general?
Senator Scott is a great spokesman for conservative principles and for the opportunities that America provides. And, I think, I can't remember precisely his great phrasing, but he talked about the solution to our problems not being in Washington with government officials, but being with the people. And that's always, we're at our best, and we're most unified, by the way, when we empower people to solve their own problems. We reduce taxes, we reduce regulations, and get the government out of the way of a robust private sector of skillful and creative Americans.
Exactly. And like you said last night, just seemed like they had a theme of big government, which is scary. But, we're almost out of time, Congressman, but I wanted to get your take really quickly. So, there's been a few House Republicans that have vowed to reject campaign donations from big tech amid, all the scandals that they've been facing, because we've seen all the censorship we've been seeing of conservatives. And, this is really, really scary in the country that, it's very anti-American what we've been seeing. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, Ken Buck, representative of Colorado, has led several of us to declare that we will not accept contributions from these big tech giants that censor conservative free speech. And I think it's one way to signal to the country and to them that that they are not in charge. They do not decide what happens in this country. And someone's going to have to demonstrate the courage to stand up to them. We're taking the first step. And I think it's the first in a number of steps. Turn of the previous century, Teddy Roosevelt did that by busting the trust, taking on the robber barons. The robber barons of those old days, or the tech giants of today, make those robber barons look like pikers. These guys are changing American society for the worse. We see some indications of government complicity in it and collusion in it lately with revolutions of Judicial Watch about actions in California. So, there's a lot to do. We have work to do on the antitrust subcommittee, the Judiciary Committee where I serve. And we're going to keep working at it. But the first step is to say we're not going to be beholden to these tech giants and controlled by them the way they're controlling the forum for public speech.
Well, we really are thankful and appreciative for you standing up against censorship. But we're all out of time. Thank you so much, Congressman.
Delighted to be with you. Thanks for the time.